You're on pace for 106 points for a season total. How good is this team?
We're a solid team. Yeah, we're a really solid team. You know what I mean? I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but and when I say that, that's a real compliment to our players. Solid, top to bottom. We have a lot of players who've come in and out and injured. Somebody else has come in, so very solid. A lot of depth. Very, very solid.
The feeling against Dallas seemed to be that maybe wasn't your best game, but you got it one anyway. This felt like an excellent game for your team. You really kind of dominated this game. This felt like a statement win against one of the top teams in the league for you.
I don't know if I would say that. Kemps was really good in the first period. We made some really poor plays. But again, that's just a sign of a solid team, right? You got the goaltending held us, and then I thought we played really well after that. There's no question. But I wouldn't call it a statement win, but it was, I talked about it before the game, the third periods. If you just go back and look at our third period since San Jose, it's probably been our best period. And doesn't mean that we scored more or had more shots, just best desperation, doing what you have to do to win a game. So that's what I'm really impressed with.
And has your goaltending been undersold, not only through this run, but even the whole year overall?
Well, not internally, not with the coaches and the players and stuff like that. That something the media talks about the goaltending and evaluates the goaltending from their frame of reference, but not for us inside. We've David had a tremendous year last year. Kemps was great when he was part of the Kings organization years ago. He's come in and played. So we're really comfortable with our goaltending. Let me get to that. So that would be your stories, whether they've been undersold or not.
Forgive me if I have it wrong. I think you guys are still giving up the fewest shots on average. What do you think is behind that in terms of limiting your ability to limit the shots on goal?
Yeah.
What is it? Structurally, personnelly, whatever?
No, it's just a willingness to check. It's a willingness to make that a priority up and down the lineup. Every player, and it's a real commitment. It's a commitment. It's taking the extra step back on a back check. It's blocking a shot. It's understanding maybe I'm late in a shift. I'm just going to put the puck in rather than taking somebody on one-on-one. So there's all these different things that add up to that. And like I said, it's not one or two or three or four. That takes everybody. And that's, again, talk to Dennis, DB's point there, Dundee's point. That's a solid team. That's a solid team.
First power play opportunity, you go with the second unit to kick things off. They kind of reward you with the goal. Nice to see them get off the schneid and help the Cubs.
Yeah. But hold it. Nobody asked me about Kevin being on that unit. He was. And Kevin was on the other unit, too. He was. So there's a story for you. No, I'll preface that. We had a plan to have Kevin play on both units tonight. And so he started on that unit, and I thought he was really good, and that gave us a little more danger on the flanks with him and Laff together. And then Phil had a great screen. Laff's shot was terrific for sure, but Phil had a great screen in front of the net. And there was probably 3 scenarios that Phil had a second effort. They were just about cleared the puck. Phil had a second effort to keep the puck in the zone. So if you go back and look at that, you'll see the work that Phil did. In the end, I don't even know if we get an assist on it, but he had so much to do with that goal going in.
Was that tweak why Clark wasn't out on the parapet? I don't think.
No, he had when he went into the end boards, he was in the dressing room. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, obviously you beat the team that's in front of you. You guys have been great at home, but how often do you feel like teams have come in here and played their A game, their best game this season, as far as visiting teams come to this building?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that because we haven't seen a lot of teams, so we don't know, what their A game is at home. So it's hard to have a frame of reference for that. I don't think anybody's come in and played poorly. Maybe the other coaches think that. I know they're all hard games for us, but again, we've just done a good job. And the atmosphere in our building. I have heard other teams and players comment about the atmosphere in our building, that it's a really cool atmosphere. And I think that drives us forward as much as they like playing in here in the atmosphere. I think it drives our players forward. So I would give a lot of credit to our fans from that perspective.
Well, driving forward and driving back, you guys did a tremendous job on Kaprizov's line. Which they had a huge night just last night.
Yeah. 9
points. Obviously, Gabby and Anderson part of that.
Yeah.
Just thoughts on their play, and also your defending as a 5-man against them as well.
Well, you have to because you can't do it if one guy's off. So with Kopitar's line, primarily up front against that line, and then Mikey and Gabby. I'm sure Smitty got them on, 95% of the time against them, and those guys have done that now night after night for 20, 25 games together, and they're just hard to play against. They're willing to play defense. They got good sticks. It can be frustrating to play against them, but you need the forward line to do the job and back check, support them as well. So it's 5 guys against those guys for sure.
Laugh has more goals than last year, and you're only a third of the way through. In a year when you maybe needed some young players to step forward like that, how big has his contribution, his continuing contribution in that area been for you?
It's been a big, huge start for the first 27 games. Really, it has been because, there's no secret. There's some of our players haven't scored as much as they're used to, as much as they expected and we expected. Beauty of that is there's still, help me, 55 left for those guys to still find the back of the net. It's not like they're not playing well, but they're just not scoring, and we're used to them scoring more. So somebody has to fill the void, and Laugh's done that for us. But I would say about Laugh, he was dangerous last year too. He was very dangerous. He was, I think, just shy of behind Juice at 5-on-5 as our second leading chance getter. So he didn't score. He was snake bitten a little bit, but I'm not real surprised that he's off to the start he is this year. He's a dangerous offensive player.
Not many teams have 2 7-game road trips in their first 35
Yeah.
games, but you do. So you've thought about this pretty important road trip.
Right. I think the first one was like 18 or 19 days. This one's only 15. So we do get a little bit of a respite that way. But they're tough trips. It takes us right to Christmas, as we know. But I can tell you what, after the homestand, it makes it easier to get on the plane, be refreshed. The guys are feeling good. I think we have a style of play, certainly at home, that we need now to bring onto the road. And I can remember talking last year about bringing our style of play on the road to home and making sure we get that down right. So we did a pretty good job of that last year. We've got to get out there and bring this game on the road now.
Do you view it as a new challenge or a different challenge at this stage?
Then the start of the
Or just the way, you've obviously established this record here at home. You've got momentum like this. Now you've got this big road trip. Is it a different challenge for you for this team at this stage, or how would you characterize it?
No, I would say this: it's going to be challenging, but I don't see it as a different challenge. We're not looking at it as 7 games, 15. We're looking at, okay, tomorrow we get on the plane and we fly to New York. That's just the only way we can approach it. So, and then we're going to practice, and then we're going to play the Islanders a couple days. That we really haven't. You just can't afford to look past that. But it will be challenging. There's no question, and we'll see what comes of it. Hopefully, we get stronger and tighter and feel better. But we'll face that adversity when we get to it.
You mentioned Laugh maybe snake bitten last year, but that goal from him today is a shot that we probably haven't seen from the NHL. It's
Right.
maybe an elite shot.
Yeah.
Is this maybe not just snake bitten, but a guy more confidence, working on the summer, whatever it was, just emerging as a top shooter in the league?
I think 2 things. You hit on them both. So I know a big focus of his this summer was his shot. And as much as the power, I always thought he had pretty good power on his shot. His release was maybe a little bit slow coming out of college to the NHL. And I think he's worked on that quite a bit. So with the release being a little quicker, I think he's added some power to it. It's the 2 things that have helped him, I think, score from distance a little bit more this year. It's hard to score from distance in the NHL.
Brant, fewest minutes this season, was that just because of that situation, the inboards, come in the room, is he okay physically, what's going on?
Yeah, he's all right. He's all right. And then, 7D and Burr's second game, Burr got in there a little more, played a little better, all those kinds of things. So protecting a lead in the third period, those typically isn't when we run Clarkie out all the time. So this confluence of things, not too much there.
This D-core has been one of the best in the league. You're going to get Dragati back soon, who's going to play a lot of minutes for you, I'm sure. But where does this D-core go from here? I mean, how does it get better with Drew? What happens when Drew comes back? How's that going to work?
I don't know. First, your definition of soon is different than mine. Yeah, yes, it's going to be a while still, but sooner, that's for sure. If we go all the way back to when he was first injured, we do feel like, okay, there's some light at the end of the tunnel finally. But we'll deal with that when we get there. But you know what? When Drew comes in, we know he's going to play, and he's going to play well and play an important role. So he's going to suck up who knows how many minutes, 20 plus. That's somebody else's. And so we'll sort that out when we get there. But in the meantime, the guys are doing a really good job. Really good job.
How do you see the workload between Darcy and Dave upcoming here, especially now you ramping Darcy back up?
Well, I mean, I think Darcy's ready to go. Clearly, he showed that tonight. So he's, I don't know what it'll look like, but what we do know is they're both in a good place. I mean, David's got to feel great about his performance. Darcy, you know, he always injured. You hope you come back and you don't re-injure and you feel good. Thought he was excellent. So we're in a pretty good spot that way. Wherever we go, feels like we got two.
Another Kobe milestone. I know every time this happens, it's always what else you say about him. But
Yeah.
just even looking at this season, he's almost improved offensively. He's on pace for one of his best offensive seasons ever. I mean, how impressive has that part of it been? How productive he's been at his age?
Yeah, you know, Daryl Sutter was here tonight. I wish he was here right now to answer that question because, you know, he's had Kopi for a pretty good run. And he came into the coach's room after we talked to him, and he just, you know, I said, what do you think of Cope? And he's just amazed. And he's had him, you know, like I said, more than anybody's coached him. So a lot of respect there from Daryl to Kopi, and I just think it's just well deserved. From all of us, we're pretty fortunate to be able to witness in real time what we're witnessing out of him.
Tim, if I can ask just a little bit of an offbeat question for something upcoming. You get the game plan probably against Patrice Bergeron often, you know, throughout.
Oh, as Toronto and New York, yeah, we played them a lot.
Yeah. So with Kobe and Bergeron, two, you know, the preeminent two-way centers, is there a comparison between those two? Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
those are the two that you think of.
Yeah.
In terms of being the ideal.
Yeah, I don't see a comparison between one and the other. I put them in the same bucket. Champions, play the game the right way, leaders, you know what I mean? Like, just iconic for team players, how you play the game, how you sacrifice maybe just a little bit of offense to make sure you win hockey games, and you are an example for younger players on how to play the game. People say it the right way. It's difficult to play it as well as they do on both sides of the puck. It just really is difficult to do it for as long as both of those guys did it.